My neighbor Gary gives us a tour, and this is not the origin story of Gary, but it does predate all 6 of the stories I've told you about Gary up to this point. Now, Gary and I had known each other for a little while. I knew he was a Y2K bunker child, I knew he had some social issues. In fact, he had a lot more when I first met him, but I couldn't conceal all the information I'd learned about Gary up to this point, so I had to introduce him to my boyfriend at the time, Hank. Will I ever tell you the lore of Hank? No, it still hurts my feelings. But he is not one of the Tinder perverts from other stories. Anyway, Gary, I tell Hank, I just throw him at the deep end of the pool, and I say, we're going to see a platonic friend of mine, bring pajamas. And Hank's like, okay. So we show up to Gary's house. In the forest, Gary is standing on his porch in full military fatigues and FBI glasses. Gary has never been in the military. He just loves camouflage. And we walk up to the porch, and Gary goes, "Hey, Hank, it's nice to meet you. I'm Gary. I've heard a lot about you. Come into my house, why don't you?" I don't know what Gary is doing, but I am here for it. We walk into the house, and Hank looks around and says, "Man, you have a really cool house." And Gary goes, Yeah, wouldn't you know it? It was an abandoned dump when I found it, and I really fixed it up. I did a lot of these designs." And Hank says, "Wow, it looks so good. It looks really good." And Gary broke character immediately, says, "You really think so? Well, then I have to show you something so cool." And he shuts off the lights, and the kitchen counter starts to glow with glittery sparkles. And Gary leans over the counter and says, I made this. I designed it. I poured it. And see all the swirls, the glittery, sparkly swirls? It's to make it look like space, because I love space." And Hank leans over and says, "It does look like space." Gary says, "Yeah, I'm so glad you like it. I have something else to show you." And he turns the lights on, and we go off to the bathroom. And we go into the bathroom, and we go into the shower, and Gary turns off the lights. Hank whispers to me, "So it's going to be a dark tour?" And I say, "Shh, Gary's touring." Gary turns on the heating lamps above the shower, and it turns the entire bathroom into a deep, deep, hellish red. And then he says, "You ready for the best part?" And he turns on the shower, and the shower spigots start pouring from both ends. And he turns around, he says, "This is so you can wash both sides of your body at the same time. It's so efficient and warm in the dark." And he turns the lights back on and says, "The only thing I don't like about it is the shower mushroom." And we look down, and there's a mushroom at the bottom of the shower. "Why don't you just pluck it out, Gary?" "Yeah, well, I tried that. I kill it every day. I do. I sprayed it with vinegar. I sprayed it with bleach. I'm thinking about getting a shower turtle at this point. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. I guess I just have a shower mushroom." But to the backyard. And he runs off to the backyard, and we stand on the back porch, and it's sunset now. And we look off into Gary's infamous backyard, and he goes, "You see this? It's all mine. I have so many plans for this backyard. Would you like some porch wine?" I said, "Yes." Oh, yes, would love some porch wine." So we walk into the living room, we sit down, and Gary brings in 2 glasses of brownish liquid and hands it to us. And I take a sip. "Gary, what is this?" He says, "It's wine I make under my porch." See, the dark and dampness of it really, like, exfoliates the yeast. And Hank goes, "Oh, yeast. Yes, well, that explains one of the flavors. I'm not really a wine guy. Do you have anything else?" And Gary says, "Yes, I have. What do you want?" "I'm so good at alcohol. I don't like drinking, but I love to make it. So what would you like? And then I'll make it for you. I have so many bartender books." And Hank goes, "I really like peach amaretto sour." And Gary goes, "I can make you a grasshopper." Hank says, "That'll work." So Gary goes over to his big giant cabinet of alcohol flavorings and starts to take out stuff. Puts it in a little fancy shaker. He goes, "I'm training to be a bartender." And I said, "You're training to be a bartender? you're going to go to town? He said, no, no. Just, for me, for my friends who come over, like you guys. So tell me what you think. Hank, I made yours with a little extra alcohol, because I peg you as a guy who likes to drink a lot. Not that I would peg you. And then, let's see. You, Tabitha, I made yours without alcohol, because I know you're not a drinker. I'm like, oh, thank you. What did you make it with? He said, vinegar. It is an excellent alcohol replacement. Okay. So as I sat there drinking my milky mint vinegar, I contemplated my life choices. Me and Hank were sitting on the couch in a blanket, and Gary goes, you guys, I hope you're comfortable there. Just so you know, and I'm so sorry that this is going to happen, you might be visited by a cat. So I said, okay, you got a cat, Gary? I thought you only had a ferret. He was like, no, I don't have a cat. The neighbor cat kept visiting. I said, how does he get inside? He said, well, he kept visiting. So I had to put in a cat door. So I didn't have to wake up at night and let him in. I was like, a cat? You put a cat door in for the neighbor cat that won't stop visiting? And Hank's like, he's being very clear about this. We're going to get to sleep with a cat. Why are you picking this apart? I'm like, I'm so sorry. All right. I guess we'll just be visited by a neighbor cat. I'm not going to drink this anymore. It's just, yeah. Anyway, Gary gets us all a snack of pickled eggs, and there are different variations of pickled eggs he'd made. And then he says, would you like to see my puppets? Yes. So as Gary gets drunk immediately, like he's had like one shot, and he is just wasted. He goes and he gets his puppet collection. Now, I have seen this puppet collection before, but I know Hank has not seen this puppet collection, and it can be a bit jarring because they are life-size. Gary made them, and he doesn't put on what I would say a puppet show, but he does put on a puppet expose, where he shows off all their voices. He does do one song, but that was only to show off his vocal range while doing the ventriloquism voice. He ends the night with a bit of close-up magic, just typical Gary stuff. And Hank is actually having a marvelous time, and we're sitting there like crouched in the blanket, just watching the show happen, watching the Gary show. It's my favorite show. And Gary goes, oh, I'm getting tired. I love how you two cuddle under a blanket. All right, I'm going to bed. Would you guys like to watch a movie? They said, oh, I would love to watch some TV. And he said, no, I don't have a TV. No, but I do have a projector. And I have some VCR tapes. I've got some old Disney movies. I got Sound of Music. I got Fox and the Hound. I got, my home videos from my childhood. And I said, yes. And Hank was like, oh, maybe just Fox and the Hound. And Gary said, well, really, Fox and the Hound is just for me. And I watch it by myself. And I say, well, then we will settle for the home videos of you as a child, please. Thank you. We will watch that while we sleep.